going to do today is show you our really cool tool. It's called Perfect Layers, and what this will allow you to do is it'll allow you to do some really great work with layers as small as a 1/16 of an inch all the way up to a full inch. So whether you're a card maker or a scrapbooker, everybody likes to use layers as an element on their paper crafting projects. And we like to show you how much layers can make a difference, because you can see here's your little photograph before. Just adding a layer of matting, 1 or 2 underneath, is what can make an absolutely huge difference. You can see in the before and afters. And it doesn't have to be just a single layer. We like to show you as well multiple layers, and really picking up different elements of the patterns and prints on your papers is where you can see it makes a difference. But not just on pictures, you can use them on tags. Here's a little before with the tags, and then here's after with the tags. So you can see whether you want to do a 1/16 of an inch all the way up to an 1/8 of an inch. We actually have 12 different sizes using the Perfect Layers tools, so you can get up to a full inch and create some amazing work with your layers. So no more eyeballing, no more measuring. With the Perfect Layers, you can turn your artwork from this to this just by using these tools, and we're going to show you how they work too. So I want to show you a little bit about how the Perfect Layers tools works. You actually have 3 of the Perfect Layers tools here, and that gives you 12 different measurements to choose from. And the tool is actually marked. I don't know if you can see this. This is tool number 1, and it shows you that there's 1/8, 5/8, 1/4, and 3/8 measurements. But probably the best way to see is you can see the 4 different measurements in the side there. So in here, I know that this is 1/8 of an inch. When I look over here, this is actually 5/8 of an inch. And when I flip it over, this is 1/4 of an inch, and this one is 3/8 of an inch. The tool number 2, this is probably one of my favorites because it has on it 1/16 of an inch. So you can actually get a border that fine. You can get a layer that fine to be 1/16 of an inch. 3/16, it's got 5/16, it's got 1/2 an inch there. And then the last tool, tool number 3, and this one actually I use a lot for pattern paper. I can either get 3/4 of an inch or I can get a full inch. So to show you how it works, basically I'm just going to use a photograph, but it could be a rubber stamp image if you want. So you're just going to put the adhesive on the back, and you don't have to worry about where you put your image. It could go just about anywhere. I'm going to just exaggerate this and put it right kind of off center to show you. You could use scraps of paper if you wanted to. Now I wanted to do with this one, I think I'm going to start with 1/4 of an inch. And how I know it's 1/4 of an inch is that's the number that's facing me this way. The 1/8 is backwards. So I'm going to do the 1/4 of an inch. I don't know if you can see this, but that little catch lip, see what it does? Is it actually catches right onto the edge. And I know when I cut this, I'm just going to hook this right, boom, 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 onto the edge. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. You can use any type of knife. You can use any type of mat. And I'm just going to run it along the side here. Now, this is a stainless steel edge. And you can see you are going to get perfect layers each and every time. Now that is 1/4 of an inch. Now let's just say, you know what, I didn't want 1/4 of an inch, I actually wanted an 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to use the one that says an 1/8 of an inch. Again, just hooking it along the side there, you can just feel it. And then I'm just going to take this, I'm going to cut it along, I'm going to do an 1/8 of an inch. Now that's kind of neat, that's impressive, an 1/8 of an inch, but where it really gets neat, I'm going to go to tool number 2, and I'm going to actually use, here we are, a 1/16 of an inch. Now, I know it's a 1/16 of an inch because it says that, but this is a good hint. That is 1/16 of an inch. And when I take this, you can see it's hooking on there. You can see that. That is 1/16 of an inch. That's going to be right along the side. So bump, bump, bump it up against. Take your knife, run it down. Again, it's a stainless steel metal border, so you're not going to hurt it. And that's impressive. That is a 1/16 of an inch that we got there. And then just flip it around and keep going. Again, you're just going to feel the edge of the project that you're working on. And it could be, again, it doesn't have to be a photograph. You could be working, if you want, on a rubber stamp image. But no more eyeballing. You don't have to worry about guesstimating. You don't have to pull out the big paper trimmer. I think that's one of the things I love about it, is it's so portable, and I can take it with me. And I have a perfect 1/16 of an inch all the way around, and you can see how nice that works. And this is where you're really going to see the difference. When you have your cards, you see that borders and layers, 1/16 of an inch is one of my favorite ones, but you can go as big as an inch. There's a real big difference of a before and after, and it does a fantastic job. So the 3 tools will give you 12 different measurements, and they're all clearly marked to a 1, 2, and 3, and we do give you a really good set of instructions, plus the videos are available online. Okay, so one other thing you can do with perfect layers is use them for what we call perfect spaces. A lot of the times when you're doing some spacing of different elements in the card, you want to have an absolute perfect space in between, so like 1/16 of an inch that we've got on this card. So let's just quickly show you how you can use perfect layers to create perfect spaces. So here what I did was I wanted exactly a 1/16 of an inch, so I know that that piece there is a 1/16 of an inch. And what I did was I actually used it, you can see, there's a perfect space, I don't know if you can see that, of a 1/16 of an inch along there. So you can use it like this. All I'm going to do is just take the ruler and I'm going to just bump it up against here. Now we know that this space is exactly 1/16 of an inch. So all I have to do is take the item that I want, space 1/16 of an inch, put it up against there, and make sure that it's butt up against and lined up that way. And then you've got perfectly spaced 1/16 of an inch in between. Okay, just a little hint or a tip for the folks that find that if you're using really, really thin paper, sometimes it's a little difficult to maybe find the exact edge that you need. It might, along here, this little catch lip, it might not catch as well as you'd want it to. And the reason why is if it's very, very thin paper, there's not a lot to catch. Although there's a bit of a hint or a tip for you. What you want to do when you're using thin papers, once you've stuck it down, just take your finger and just give it a light run underneath that paper. It just gives it a slight lift, and by doing that, that allows you to be able to find that catch. So you can see now it's just lifted enough, and I don't know if I can even get that to you, where you can see it's just bumping up against there. So if it's too thin, all you want to do is just give it a lift like that, and then it'll settle back down afterwards. So now I can take this, bump this right up against it. I know it's there very comfortably. I know that this is exactly 1 inch, and how do I know it's 1 inch? Because that's what it says on my ruler. And all I do is just take this and cut.